Is there anything more agonizing for a football fan than watching your team make a monumental head-scratching decision at the most important position, only to see it unravel before your very eyes, leaving a trail of questions, controversy, and a future shrouded in doubt? What if the biggest gamble your franchise ever took at quarterback turned into a high-stakes poker game where every hand dealt seems to deepen the mystery rather than reveal a clear path forward? Welcome back, Gridiron Gladiators, to the channel where we don't just follow the headlines. We plunge into the heart of the drama, dissecting the strategic blunders and brilliant gambles that define the NFL. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a quarterback conundrum that has left the entire league scratching its head and Atlanta Falcons fans in a state of perpetual anxiety. We're talking about the bewildering saga of Kirk Cousins, the controversial drafting of Michael Penix Jr., and the looming decisions that could either solidify the Falcons' future or plunge them deeper into quarterback purgatory. This isn't just a story about players. It's a narrative about risk, reward, and the relentless pressure to get it right at the game's most pivotal position. Let's cast our minds back to the whirlwind of the 2024 offseason. The Atlanta Falcons, desperate for stability and a proven veteran presence under center, made a splash that reverberated across the NFL. They signed Kirk Cousins to a colossal 4-year, $180 million contract, with a staggering $100 million guaranteed. The message was clear. Cousins was their guy, the seasoned leader who would finally unlock the potential of their talented offensive weapons and guide them to contention. Fans, while perhaps wary of the price tag, breathed a collective sigh of relief, believing the carousel of quarterbacks had finally stopped spinning. But then, just weeks later, came the plot twist that nobody saw coming, a decision so audacious, so seemingly contradictory, that it instantly became one of the most talked about moves in recent NFL history. With the 8th overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Falcons selected quarterback Michael Penix Jr. The ink was barely dry on Cousins' mega deal, and suddenly the franchise had invested an unprecedented amount of capital, both financial and draft, into 2 quarterbacks in the span of a month. The immediate reaction was a mixture of shock, confusion, and outright anger from many corners of the football world. What were they thinking? How could a team commit so heavily to a veteran, only to immediately draft his presumed successor with a top 10 pick? Fast forward to the day, and the chickens, as they say, are coming home to roost. ESPN's astute analyst Bill Barnwell, a man known for his incisive predictions, has weighed in with a forecast that, while perhaps unsurprising to some, still hits like a ton of bricks. Barnwell firmly believes that Atlanta's ill-fated dalliance with Kirk Cousins will surely end after the 2025 season. This isn't just speculation, it's a cold, hard assessment of a situation that from its inception felt destined for a messy conclusion. The ill-fated dalliance is a perfect descriptor. What was supposed to be a marriage of convenience and championship aspirations has quickly devolved into a costly short-term arrangement. The financial implications alone are staggering. To cut ties with Cousins after just 2 seasons means the Falcons will have paid an astronomical sum for what amounts to a brief and likely underwhelming tenure. It's the kind of buyer's remorse that haunts general managers and ownership groups for years, a stark reminder that even the biggest free agent splashes can turn into strategic quagmires. The initial hope, the promise of stability, has been replaced by the bitter taste of a gamble that, by all accounts, appears to have backfired spectacularly. The Cousins era, it seems, is destined to be a footnote, a cautionary tale in the Falcons' ongoing quest for quarterback salvation. With Kirk Cousins' departure seemingly inevitable, all eyes now turn, with an almost uncomfortable intensity, to Michael Penix Jr. He was the controversial 8th overall pick in the 2024 draft, a selection that instantly placed an immense burden of expectation on his shoulders. The Falcons, in their defense, knew the pick would create controversy. They acknowledged it, yet they felt Penix was worth it. That statement alone speaks volumes about their conviction in his talent, a conviction so strong that it superseded the immediate optics and the massive investment in Cousins. Penix Jr. certainly possesses the physical tools that make scouts salivate. He has an incredibly strong left arm, capable of making throws that few others in the league can even attempt. His college tape showcased moments of breathtaking brilliance, pinpoint accuracy, and a fearless approach to the game. He's a quarterback who can stretch the field, fit balls into tight windows, and elevate an offense with his sheer arm talent. However, as Barnwell astutely points out, the Penix part of this equation is tricky. Despite his undeniable talent, his inconsistencies have created concerns about his long-term viability. This is the crucial caveat, the nagging doubt that lingers over his potential. Inconsistent play, particularly at the NFL level, can be a career killer. It's the difference between flashes of brilliance and sustained excellence, between being a tantalizing prospect and a franchise quarterback. These inconsistencies could manifest in accuracy issues, questionable decision-making under pressure, or an inability to adapt to the speed and complexity of the professional game. The 2025 season, therefore, becomes the ultimate proving ground for Michael Penix Jr. With Cousins likely out of the picture, the starting job will almost certainly fall to him. This isn't just an opportunity, it's a trial by fire. He has to demonstrate that the Falcons' audacious gamble was, in fact, a stroke of genius, not a moment of madness. He needs to play well, to silence the doubters, and to make a case as the unquestioned starter for 2026. The pressure on this young man will be immense, perhaps unprecedented for a quarterback entering his second year. Every throw, every decision, every win and loss will be scrutinized under a microscope, not just by fans and media, but by a front office that has already staked its reputation on his potential. Here's where the Falcons' quarterback situation truly enters uncharted territory, revealing the depth of their contingency planning, or perhaps their lingering uncertainty. Barnwell's analysis delves into the critical decision Atlanta will face regarding the quarterback behind Penix. He writes, "I would be shocked if the Falcons moved on from their 2024 first-round pick after what should be a little over a full season's worth of work, but it's still unclear whether they'll bring in someone who would qualify as just a safe pair of hands behind Penix or someone with a realistic chance of taking over as the starter if 25-year-old struggles next season. This isn't just about finding a competent backup, it's about the kind of backup they're willing to invest in. The distinction is crucial. A safe pair of hands is a veteran who can manage a game, keep the ship steady if the starter goes down, but isn't expected to challenge for the job. Think of a journeyman who knows the playbook and can execute a basic offense. But the alternative, someone with a realistic chance of taking over as the starter, is a completely different animal. This implies a significant investment, perhaps another high-priced free agent or even a mid-round draft pick, brought in not just for insurance, but for genuine competition. Barnwell even offers a compelling example, like Daniel Jones did with the Colts this season. This reference is chilling for Falcons fans. It paints a picture where Penix Jr. struggles, and a newly acquired backup, perhaps a veteran with a chip on his shoulder, steps in and performs well enough to seize the starting role. This scenario would be a nightmare for Falcons front office, a public admission that their top 10 pick, their controversial investment, hasn't panned out. It would mean they've essentially gone through 3 significant quarterback investments, Cousins, Penix Jr., and now this potential backup, in a remarkably short period, all without finding a definitive answer. The willingness to make a hefty investment in a backup QB this offseason, a guy who could compete for the starting job and even potentially win it, speaks volumes about the lack of absolute certainty surrounding Penix Jr. It suggests that while they are invested in him, that investment is not unconditional. It's a pragmatic, albeit unsettling, acknowledgement that if Penix Jr. doesn't deliver in 2025, the Falcons are prepared to pivot to spend more money and more resources in their desperate search for a franchise quarterback. This level of uncertainty, this constant reevaluation at the game's most critical position, is a recipe for instability and fan frustration. Ultimately, the narrative of Michael Penix Jr.'s NFL career, and by extension the Atlanta Falcons' quarterback future, is still largely unwritten. There's still a lot of football left in the 2025 season, and that season will be the most pivotal of Penix Jr.'s young career. It's his chance to silence the critics, to prove that the strong arm and flashes of brilliance can translate into consistent, winning football at the highest level. If he can overcome his inconsistencies, if he can lead the Falcons to success, then the controversy of his draft pick will fade into the background, remembered only as a bold, successful gamble. But if Penix Jr. struggles, if those inconsistencies persist, then the questions will only intensify. The pressure will become unbearable, and the Falcons will find themselves back at square one, having spent hundreds of millions of dollars and multiple high draft picks without a clear answer at quarterback. The little reason to start wondering what his long-term future looks like in Atlanta will grow into a deafening roar of doubt and speculation. This isn't just about a player's performance, it's about the very identity of a franchise. The Falcons have made their bed, and now they must lie in it. They chose to make a bold, unconventional move, and now they must live with the consequences. The path forward is fraught with peril, but also with the potential for redemption. It's a high-wire act, a tightrope walk over a chasm of uncertainty, and every step will be watched with bated breath by a fan base desperate for clarity. So, what do you make of this unprecedented quarterback situation in Atlanta, football faithful? Was the Penix Jr. pick an unforgivable blunder or a necessary, albeit risky, long-term play? And how much pressure do you think Michael Penix Jr. is truly under heading into the 2025 season? Let us know your thoughts, your predictions, and your frustrations in the comment section below. Your passion and insights fuel this conversation. And if you felt the tension, the drama, and the sheer bewilderment of this unfolding saga, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're dedicated to bringing you the most thorough, engaging, and dynamic football analysis anywhere. Until next time, keep your eyes on the field and your mind on the strategy.